Superposition. You are all versions of yourself simultaneously. Imagine for a moment that right now, in this very instant, you exist not as one fixed version of yourself, but as an infinite field of possibilities. Quantum physics shows us something astonishing. Until the moment of observation, a particle exists in all possible states simultaneously. It's here and there. It's moving and motionless. It's everything and nothing until the observer collapses this wave function into a single reality. And now allow yourself to realize you are that very observer. And just like an electron in superposition, you right now exist as all versions of yourself simultaneously. Successful, healthy, happy, fulfilled, loving, free. All these versions aren't somewhere in the future. They're here in the quantum field of pure potentials, awaiting your observation, your choice, your intention. But here's the thing. Most people live collapsing the same reality over and over again. They wake up in the morning and the first thought that comes to their mind is a memory of who they were yesterday. The same personality, the same problems, the same limitations. And the moment they think these habitual thoughts, feel these familiar emotions, do the same automatic actions, they choose from the quantum field that same version of themselves. They become a living memory of the past. Your brain works like a holographic processor that projects your internal state onto external reality. Every thought is an electrical charge. Every emotion is a magnetic field. Together, they create an electromagnetic signature that influences matter, literally attracting to you certain events, people, circumstances. Your internal state is a transmitter that tunes into a specific frequency in the quantum field. When you truly understand this, not intellectually, but with your entire being, something incredible happens. You realize that you're not bound to the past. You're not obligated to be who you were a minute ago. Because in the quantum field, there is no past and future. There's only the eternal present, the infinite now moment, where all possibilities exist simultaneously. The problem is that your body has become a mind. It has memorized all your emotions, all your experiences, all your reactions. Years of repetitive thoughts and feelings have created neural networks that have become automatic programs. You no longer think consciously. Your subconscious, which comprises 95% of your life, runs the same patterns. Anxiety in the morning, fear of the future, doubt in your abilities. This isn't you. It's a program that's controlling your body-mind. And this is where the real work begins. To choose a new version of yourself from the quantum field, you need to become someone else before it happens in your reality. This means starting to think like this new version of you. Feel the emotions of this version. Make decisions from its perspective, all before external evidence appears. This requires you to go beyond your body, beyond your environment, beyond time. Most people try to create a new life while remaining the old version of themselves. They want wealth, but think from a place of lack. They want health, but live in stress. They want love, but radiate fear. And the quantum field responds not to their desires. It responds to their vibrational state. When you sit in meditation and begin to tune your internal state, you're literally sending a signal into the quantum field. You exit survival mode, the sympathetic nervous system that makes you constantly run, fight, or freeze, and enter the state of creation, the state of coherence. Your brain waves slow down. Your heart begins to beat in an ordered rhythm. Your energy centers align. And in this state, you gain access to the operating system, to the very program of life. But here's what happens with most people. They meditate for 5 minutes, visualize their new life, and then get up and return to the old self. They open their eyes, and the first thing they do is check whether anything has changed in the external world. They look at their body, at their environment, at their circumstances, and when everything remains the same, they think, "This doesn't work." And in that moment, they collapse the old reality again. True transformation happens when you live from a new state for so long that your body begins to believe it has already happened. When gratitude for what isn't yet in the material world becomes your daily practice. When joy from the future reality fills you right now. Because emotion is energy in motion. And when you feel the emotion before the event has occurred, you send into the quantum field a signal. This has already happened. And the field must respond because this is a law of nature. Your DNA is not a sentence, as we've been taught. Epigenetics shows that only 5% of diseases are related to genetic mutations. The remaining 95% are the result of signals from the environment. And the most powerful signal is your thoughts and emotions. When you live in stress, in fear, in anxiety, you literally turn on disease genes and turn off health genes. But when you change your internal state, when you choose elevated emotions, love, gratitude, joy, inspiration, you send a new signal to your cells and they begin to create new proteins, activate different genes, literally reprogram themselves. Every time you choose a new thought, you create a new neural connection. Every time you feel a new emotion, you change your electromagnetic field. Every time you act in a new way, you teach your body a new mind. And at some point, after enough repetitions, the old version of you simply dies. Not metaphorically, literally. Old neural networks break down, old cellular receptors disappear, the old electromagnetic signature dissolves, and a new version of you is born. This is superposition in action. You're not trying to become someone else. You're choosing from the infinite field of potentials the version of yourself that already exists. You're not creating a new reality from scratch. You're tuning into the frequency of a reality that's already in the quantum field, awaiting your observation. And when you truly understand this, when you embody this knowledge in every cell of your body, a miracle happens. You stop being a victim of circumstances. You stop waiting for something to change so you can change. You become a creator who chooses from infinity the version of yourself you want to be right now. And this isn't positive thinking. This isn't affirmations in front of a mirror. This isn't visualization from the head. This is a deep transformation of your being at the quantum level, where thought becomes matter, where consciousness shapes reality, where observer and observed are one and the same. You see, every moment of your life is a point of choice. In every now, you stand at the crossroads of infinite paths. Left, the version of you that continues to live in fear. Right, the version that chooses love. Forward, the version that takes risks. Backward, the version that returns to the familiar. And the most amazing thing, all these versions are real. They all exist simultaneously in a quantum superposition state until you make a choice. But here's what's important to realize. Choice is not an intellectual decision. You can decide to change 1,000 times, and nothing will happen if your body, your subconscious, your energy field continues to broadcast the old frequency. Choice is when every part of your being aligns with a new reality. When your thoughts, emotions, intentions, actions, everything resonates on one wavelength. You know what happens when you achieve this coherence? Your heart begins to generate an electromagnetic field that's thousands of times stronger than the brain's field. This field extends several meters around you, influencing people, situations, events. You literally become a broadcasting station that changes the reality around you. People feel your energy. Opportunities begin to appear out of nowhere. Synchronicities become the norm of life. But to reach this state, you need to overcome humanity's greatest addiction to the old self. Your body has become accustomed to a certain cocktail of neurochemical substances. Adrenaline from stress, cortisol from anxiety. These chemical compounds have become your identity. Your body is literally hooked on them, like a drug addict on heroin. And when you try to change, when you enter meditation and begin to create a new state, your body screams, "This isn't me. Go back to the familiar." That's why it's so difficult to meditate the first time. That's why your mind wanders. That's why the body itches, hurts, wants to get up. This isn't weakness. It's withdrawal syndrome from the old version of yourself. Your body is breaking down because you're depriving it of its habitual dose of familiar emotions. And if you give up at this moment, if you get up and return to your phone, to your habits, to your thoughts, you feed the addiction. You become a slave to the past again. But if you stay, if you go through this discomfort, if you observe the body's desire to return to the old and don't give in to it, something magical happens. Old neural connections begin to break down. Cellular receptors that were waiting for their dose of familiar emotions begin to disappear. And in the space that's freed up, something new begins to form. Imagine this. You're sitting in meditation, and instead of thinking about your problems, about what you need to do, about what happened yesterday, you begin to feel. Feel gratitude for what isn't yet. Feel joy from a future event that exists only as potential for now. Feel love for the version of yourself you haven't yet become. And in this moment, your body doesn't know the difference between a real event and what you're so vividly imagining and feeling. For your subconscious, for your cells, for your genes, this is already reality. You're literally rehearsing the future in the present. You're teaching your body to emotionally experience the new reality before it materializes. And when you do this again and again, day after day, your body begins to believe in this new reality more than in the old one. It begins to live in this future now. And when your body lives in the future in the present moment, the quantum field must respond. Because time is an illusion of the linear mind. In the quantum field, everything exists simultaneously. Past, present, future. These are just different points in a unified field of possibilities. When you live from an elevated state of consciousness, you transcend Newtonian time and enter the eternal present, where everything is available right now. That's why people who truly master this art can create what others call miracles. Spontaneous remissions, unexpected opportunities, synchronistic meetings. These aren't miracles. It's simply understanding how reality works at the quantum level. It's the ability to consciously choose from superposition the version of reality you want to experience. But there's one critically important point here. You can't create from a place of lack. You can't attract wealth if you feel poverty. You can't heal the body if you live in fear of disease. You can't find love if you don't love yourself. Because the emotion of lack in itself sends into the field a signal. I lack this, and the field responds, received. Here's more lack. True creation begins with gratitude. Not gratitude for what you have now, though that's also important, but gratitude for what hasn't yet happened. When you feel gratitude before the event has materialized, you send into the quantum field the most powerful signal. This has already happened. I've already received this. I've already become this. And the field cannot not respond, because it responds not to your words, not to your thoughts. It responds to your state of being. State of being is when you stop doing and begin to be. When you're not trying to become successful, you're already successful in your state. When you're not striving for health, you're already healthy in your energy. When you're not seeking love, you're already love in your essence. And from this state of being, your actions become completely different. They become inspired, not motivated by fear. They flow naturally, not tensely. They create, not compensate. You see, most people live in cause and effect mode. Something happens in the external world, they react. Someone says something to them, they feel an emotion. They see the balance in their account. They experience fear or joy. They're slaves to external circumstances. Their inner world is a reflection of the outer. This is the Newtonian model of reality, where everything is predictable, linear, deterministic. But the quantum model shows us the opposite. The external world is a reflection of the internal. When you change your state independent of environmental conditions, when you choose joy despite circumstances, when you radiate love in response to hatred, you become cause, not effect. You stop being a thermometer that measures the temperature of the environment and become a thermostat that sets it. And in this moment, you exit the three-dimensional reality of space and time and begin to create from the fifth dimension, the dimension of pure consciousness, where everything exists as a possibility awaiting your choice. You see, your brain doesn't know the difference between what's happening in the external world and what you're so vividly imagining inside. When you close your eyes and fully immerse yourself in experiencing a future event, your heart beats faster, your breathing changes, your neurotransmitters are released as if it's happening right now. For your brain, there's no difference between imagined and real. It creates the same neural patterns. This means that every time you mentally rehearse your new life, you're literally forging neural pathways in the brain that correspond to this reality. You're teaching your body to be in this new version of yourself. You're creating the biological foundation for a future that hasn't yet arrived. And when you do this again and again, these neural pathways become superhighways, while the old roads become overgrown and disappear. But here's what happens with most people. They live in waiting mode. They wait for the job to change so they can feel secure. They wait for love to come so they can open their heart. They wait for money to come so they can feel abundance. They wait for healing so they can stop worrying. They make their internal state dependent on external circumstances. And in this waiting, they collapse the same reality day after day, because their state of being remains unchanged. Real magic begins when you flip this formula, when you begin to feel abundance before money appears, when you open your heart before you've met love, when you feel healthy before the symptoms have disappeared. This isn't self-deception, this is quantum creation. Because when you generate the emotion before the event, you change your electromagnetic signature, and this new signature begins to attract to you people, circumstances, opportunities that match this frequency. Your energy field is like a radio station that's constantly broadcasting a signal into the universe. And the universe, the quantum field, responds to you on the same frequency. If you broadcast fear, you get more reasons to fear. If you broadcast lack, you get more lack. If you broadcast love, gratitude, joy, you get more reasons to love, be grateful, and rejoice. This isn't mysticism, this is physics. This is the law of resonance in action. And here begins the most difficult part of the journey. You need to hold this new state long enough for the external world to have time to restructure. Because between the moment when you changed your internal state and the moment when it reflected in external reality, there's a gap of time. And in this gap, most people give up. They meditate for a week, a month, and when nothing changes in their physical reality, they return to the old self. They open their eyes, look at their life, and think, nothing works. And in that moment, they make the greatest mistake. They allow the external world to control their internal state. They give power back to circumstances. They become effect again, not cause. True masters of creation understand. Between planting a seed and the appearance of a plant, time passes. But you don't dig up the seed every day to check if it's grown, do you? You water it, give it sun, care for it, and trust the process. So it is with quantum creation. You plant the seed with your intention, water it with elevated emotions, give it the light of your attention, and trust that the quantum field will organize events so that this seed sprouts into your reality. Trust is not blind faith. Trust is knowledge based on experience. When you begin to practice this, when you begin to see the first synchronicities, the first small changes, the first signs that something is moving, this knowledge strengthens. And each time it becomes easier for you to hold the new state because you see evidence that it works. But in the beginning, you must leap into the unknown without guarantees. You must choose a new version of yourself without having any proof that it's possible. You must believe in potential more than in the past. This requires courage. This requires willingness to look foolish in the eyes of the old self. This requires the ability to go against everything your body, your mind, your environment tells you. You know what's most difficult in this process? Not meditation, not visualization, not working with emotions. The most difficult thing is staying true to the new version of yourself throughout the day when the old environment, old people, old triggers try to return you to the former state. When your colleague says something that used to cause irritation in you. When you see the bank balance that used to cause anxiety. When you look in a mirror and see the body that used to cause dissatisfaction. In these moments, you stand at a crossroads. One road leads back to the old self. It's the easy path, familiar, automatic. The other road leads to the new self. It's a conscious choice requiring presence, requiring willpower, requiring the ability to observe the old reaction and not give into it. And every time you choose the new road, you strengthen the new neural network. Every time you don't react the old way, you destroy the old program. It's like having a demon inside, a demon of old habits, old thoughts, old emotions. And this demon is strong because you've fed it for years, decades. It knows all your weaknesses. It knows how to make you return to the familiar. It will whisper to you, "This is too hard. This doesn't work. You're not good enough. Go back to who you were. It's safe there." But with each day that you don't feed this demon, it becomes weaker. With each meditation, when you choose a new state, it loses power. And at some point, after enough days, weeks of practice, it simply disappears. The old version of you dies. Not dramatically, not painfully. It simply dissolves because you no longer give it the energy of your attention. And in its place, something new is born. A version of you that no longer lives in survival mode. That doesn't react automatically to external triggers. That creates from overflow, not from lack. That loves without expecting anything in return. That gives, knowing that abundance is its natural state. That lives in the present moment, fully present here and now. This version of you has always existed in the quantum field. It's not somewhere in the future, not in some other dimension. It's here, right now, in superposition with all other versions of you. It's just that until this moment, you haven't chosen it. You chose the familiar, predictable, safe. You chose a version of yourself based on past experience, on past traumas, on past limitations. But now, in this very moment, you can make a different choice. You can close your eyes right now and feel, not think, but actually feel what life would be like if you were already that version of yourself you dream of. How would you breathe? How would your heart beat? What energy would fill your body? Don't analyze it. Just allow yourself to be this, right now, without expectation, without doubt, without the question, how will this happen? Because how is the work of the quantum field. Your work is to hold the who. Who do you choose to be? Which version from the infinite superposition do you collapse with your observation, your attention, your state of being? And when you truly understand that all versions of you exist simultaneously right now, sick and healthy, poor and rich, lonely and loved, frightened and free, you realize the greatest truth. The choice has always been yours. Always. In every moment, in every breath, in every thought. You're not a victim of circumstances. You're not a result of your past. You're not limited by your biology, your history, your environment. You are infinite consciousness that chose to enter this human experience to know itself through creation. You are the quantum field becoming aware of itself through form. You are all versions of yourself simultaneously. And in every moment, you choose which one to live. And the most amazing thing, this choice doesn't require effort. It requires only one thing: letting go. Letting go of the old. Letting go of the need to know how. Letting go of attachment to who you were. Letting go of fear of the unknown. Letting go of control. When you let go, you free up space. And in this space, the quantum field can work. In this space, what was impossible to imagine from the limited mind can manifest. In this space, miracles happen, not because they violate the laws of nature, but because they follow deeper laws, the laws of quantum reality. So begin now, not tomorrow, not when everything is perfect, not when you're ready. You'll never be ready, because readiness is an illusion of the ego that wants to control the process. Begin with one breath, one thought, one moment when you choose to feel gratitude instead of fear. Choose love instead of judgment. Choose trust instead of doubt. And remember, you're not alone on this path. Every time you choose a higher version of yourself, you don't just change your reality. You change the collective field of consciousness. You become a living example of what's possible. You show others that they too can choose. Your transformation becomes permission for others to transform. Because in the quantum field, we are all connected. We are all part of one consciousness experiencing itself through billions of points of perception. And when one point awakens, when one consciousness remembers its true nature, it affects the entire field. It creates a wave that spreads through the fabric of reality. You're this wave. You're a point of awakening in an ocean of possibilities. You are the observer who collapses infinite potential into concrete reality. And what you choose right now, in this moment, determines not only your future, it determines who you are in the eternal present. So who do you choose to be? All versions of you are waiting for your answer. All realities exist in superposition. The quantum field is ready to respond to your signal. The choice has always been yours. And it's always here, in this infinite, eternal, boundless moment of now.